Welcome back. Frank Lloyd Bear and I are going to continue reading The Joyful Bear. We are on chapter 8. This is the 5th installment, and I hope you enjoy. Chapter 8, Speaking. Frankie is one of the most talkative bears I have ever met. He has a very distinctive voice, a low timbre that carries a hint of a smile, even when he's saying something very serious. When Frankie first began to talk, it was a bit of a surprise. He'd been in the house with us for a while, and he'd demonstrated what a fantastic hugger he was, but he didn't say anything out loud. Then, one day, my husband and I had a disagreement. I don't remember the specifics, but it turned into an argument and then a fight, and afterwards, we were both hurt, angry, and sullen. At the time, there was no way I was going to hug my husband, who had just pissed me off. I picked up Frankie and gave him a hug to make myself feel better. Suddenly, the bear talked. "Berry," he said. My husband turned and looked at me, his eyebrows raised in surprise. I was holding the bear to my chest, facing away from me and towards my husband. The quiet, low-pitched words were coming from my lips, but the voice didn't sound like my voice. "I think that Margaret is feeling bad about what she said to you. She wants to apologize and she wants you to forgive her," the bear said. My husband's eyes searched my face and he realized that the bear was saying something that would have been very hard for me to say. "Tell Margaret that I accept her apology and that I am sorry for what I said," he answered, and he came over and hugged me, squishing the bear between us. From that time on, Frankie was never afraid to speak up. The bear was a complete mind reader. He knew exactly what it was that I was thinking and needed to say, but was too afraid or too angry to say. When my husband couldn't get through to me, Frankie could step in and say things for him, too. "He's so enlightened," I marveled. "He's like a Buddha bear." Frankie has never spoken a harsh or harmful word to anyone. His words are always gentle and loving. He does have a sense of humor, but it is kind, never mean. He is occasionally self-deprecating or teasing, but he doesn't make jokes at anyone else's expense. In short, he practices what is known as right speech. Right speech is one of the elements of the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. It means being truthful, saying the right thing at the right time, and abstaining from idle chatter. Right speech is summed up like this: one should speak only words that would not harm others. "Margaret," interrupts Frankie, "you are saying some very nice things about me." "Thank you." "They're all true, my bear." "Yes, but it feels especially good to see you writing them down for everyone to see." Frankie's ability to practice right speech is completely natural. He has never been able to speak any other way. It's part of his Buddha bear nature. When we are alone, Frankie is a very garrulous bear, and he speaks up a lot. He never hesitates to ask, "Can I have a hug?" Sometimes he reminds me that someone else needs a hug, but he gets shy when there are other people around. "Why is that, Frankie?" I ask him. We are alone. "Well," he drawls slowly, "I don't want to embarrass you. I am afraid that other people will laugh at you for talking with me. But if we publish this book together, the whole world will know that you and I talk. Don't you think they'll laugh at us then?" "Some of them will," says Frankie, "but if they make it all the way through the book, they'll understand. And if you and I help even one person to be happier, then it will be worth having thousands of people make fun of us." "How can you and I make someone happier, Frankie?" "We can tell them that they are unique and lovable, and that they deserve to have a bear in their lives who understands their deepest needs, a bear like me. And we can tell them that it's okay to talk to bears and to tell your secrets to a bear, even if you are a grown-up, especially if you are a grown-up." Frankie bounces around happily for a little while thinking, and then says, "We can tell them they might have a book inside them that just needs to be written, and they need a bear to write it with." Nothing in this world has as much power as the word. It seems ethereal and insubstantial, but it is not. Words impact people, which trumps mere thingliness. What a fun word that is. If we want to live happier lives, one of the first things we do is change the way we speak. It's more than just the intention, it's the action. Replace negative words and phrases with positive ones. Over the years, as more foul language has crept into my vocabulary, I've noticed that Frankie never swears. Lately, I've been trying to emulate him, which is an exercise in creativity. Try saying sugar or shucks or dang when something goes wrong. In some Bollywood films, the actors say fish instead of that other four-letter word. Simply uttering a silly word can bring a new perspective and a smile to an otherwise unpleasant moment. Another way to improve your speech is to change your situation through your words. When someone asks, "How are you?" don't tell them you feel lousy. Tell them you feel great and give them a genuine smile. When they smile back, you will feel great. When you get up in the morning, write down 3 positive words or phrases and then make it a point to use them throughout the day. You might choose love, peace, and joy. Each time you say one, it will lift your spirits. How are you? Joyful. Words should be bright like gold, light like a wing, and solid as marble. Jose Marti. Chapter 9. Listening. Margaret, I don't talk all the time, says Frankie. Sometimes I listen. I look into his radiant, upturned face. He doesn't say anything more, just waits patiently to hear my response. I'm reminded of Hermann Hesse's elegant description of the man who knew the art of listening. Without his saying a word, the speaker felt that he took in every word, quietly, expectantly, that he missed nothing. He did not await anything with impatience, and gave neither praise nor blame. He only listened. Towards the end of the story, he listened with doubled attention, completely absorbed, his eyes closed. From Siddhartha. Frankie is the bear who knows the art of listening. I've always been able to tell him how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and what I want to do with my life. He takes it in silently, beaming back at me with that childlike, caring smile. Frankie's fuzzy ears are always available when I need them. I can tell him anything, and he will still love me. No secret or hidden shameful thought is off limits. He will always love me, no matter what I say. You know the art of listening, too, he says. He falls quiet, looking at me lovingly, intently, waiting. I don't have anything to tell you right now, I say to him, feeling awkward. Still, he remains silent, looking at me. Finally, he says, I just wanted you to know what you look like, when you're listening. We sit together in silence, listening to the world around us and smiling. The purpose of listening is to listen. Most of us have never thought much about this. Listening, that's what we do when we're not talking, right? No, just because our lips are not moving doesn't mean we are listening. Often, we're just marking time and thinking of what we're going to say next. When that is the case, there's little point holding a conversation with another person. We might as well stand in front of a mirror and talk to ourselves. There's a term for that, conversational narcissism. Marshall Rosenberg spent his life teaching a listening and speaking practice called nonviolent communication, or NVC, used by people all over the world. Through its emphasis on deep listening to ourselves as well as others, NVC helps us discover the depth of our own compassion. And he uses teddy animals to explain stuff, says Frankie. In YouTube videos, Rosenberg uses stuffed puppets, a jackal and a giraffe, to illustrate key points. Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that when someone really needs to be heard, you should save any advice or suggestion for another time. You listen with only one purpose, to help him or her to empty his heart. Deep listening is a different activity than conversation. When we learn and practice it, we come to understand ourselves better. Take your time to understand. Don't just do something. Be there. Marshall Rosenberg. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to The Joyful Bear.